All right, we are live. Welcome, you guys, to our coaching sneak peek tonight. We are all in our PJs, or at least our cozies. I've got my little dog PJs on. All right, we are live. Oh, and welcome, you guys, to you guys hear that? Our coaching sneak peek tonight. We are a little feedback. 1 second, or at least our cozies. I've got my little dog. Technical difficulties. Oh, I know what we're doing. We are live. Oh. Wow. All right, we're on a loop. Okay, that should have fixed it. So anyway, we wanted to welcome you guys and just show you kind of a realistic expectations and realistic view of what coaching looks like. So it is 8:30 p.m. We are in our jammies, and we want to invite you to just experience what this team is about and welcome you to the Fit Fam. And this tonight is just really a chance to give you a little background into what it looks like to be a coach with Team Dream Builders. You're probably here because you either requested more info about coaching, or you're in our challenge groups right now and you're just curious. You might want to check it out and see what it's all about. So I have with us tonight two of our amazing coaches on the team, Whitney and Lisa. And I'm just going to pass it off to Lisa so she can introduce herself, and then she'll pass it off to Whit so Whit can also introduce herself. Go ahead.
Hey, everyone. All right. So I'm a personal trainer, and I have a lot of face-to-face clients who I realized after training for a long, long time that I was going to hit a ceiling. So every day I would go to work and I would train 8 to 10 people. My first person would get all of me. My 10th person would get none of me. And I thought, gosh, there's no way that I'm going to be able to retire. You know, I'm a single mom. I love personal training, but I really wanted to help more people around, you know, just around the area, but also where I don't live near. So when Whitney Small and I talked about doing this, it really made sense to me because, you know, trying to make ends meet and trying to make enough money and maximize my time, but also be available for my son was really hard to do. So being a single parent and working 3 jobs wouldn't have worked for me, because I would have to leave, and I'd have to leave him. And then I would also have to, you know, pay a sitter and do all that stuff. And I'd spin my wheels. So Beachbody for me has been huge because I can work when my son is sleeping. I can get up early and do it. So it's been amazing for me to do that. And because of that, I love just being part of the team. And so that's kind of my story and how I got started. And then Whitney Bennett, you want to tell us a little bit about how you got started?
Sure. I am a little brief backstory is that I went to school for planning, and then I took off and I went to South America, and I opened up a yoga studio, and I lived that life for 8 years. Ran a yoga studio and a fitness studio, and then started a family and came back and realized that it's not so easy to be a fitness instructor and raise a family. So once I came back, I started working full time, and I am in my field where I was working as a professional planner, working 40 hours a week and not seeing my son as well, and missing that life, missing the connection to people. And I came into coaching because it was a way to tap back into that, to give me back access to being able to connect to people. And also, it didn't feel good to be away from my son for 40 hours and have my son see that I would come home sad and exhausted and drained and low of energy and not doing the thing that I loved. And that really hurt me. So I saw this as a way to be able to live the life full of purpose that I wanted to live, and set that example for my son. So I work 40 hours a week, and then I come home and I do the coaching at night after he goes to bed. And those 2 hours that I give, it lights me up. It makes me sleep better. It gives me more energy, and it makes me feel like I'm on a path to be able to work that 9 to 5 a lot less, and then be able to kind of keep setting that example for my son, and also just connecting to people rather than just being the city planner. That's not really the calling that I've been designed to do.
Yeah. I love that. And I feel like my story is kind of a blend between Whitney and Lisa's. I was that corporate person sitting at my 9-to-5 job feeling completely unfulfilled in my work. And it was when my friend finally told me about what she was doing with coaching and how she had left her finance job, which was what I was working in, to eventually be a full-time coach. She shared the opportunity with me, and I thought, okay, I could do that as a side income. That sounds awesome. Jumped in. There was no better timing because honestly, about 6 months later, our jobs were eliminated and we were laid off. So that's when I went full-time with Beachbody. And it took me about part-time working personal training and group fitness, and then part-time working Beachbody, about 3 years for my Beachbody income to finally equate to what I was making in the finance industry. And I've never looked back. And now I get to do full-time coaching and just kind of work with this team and you women and men each and every day. And it's the most rewarding career for sure that I've been able to find. So what I wanted to give you guys was just a little bit of backstory into Beachbody so that you have a general idea of, well, what the heck is this company? How did this get started? And what was the vision behind it? So a little bit about the Beachbody story. Our founders of our company, their names are Carl and John, and they were both working for an infomercial company at the time, and they had this idea, this crazy concept of, let's create an infomercial where we can sell fitness to people on TV. And their company basically laughed them out of the office. They said, that's never going to work. So they branched off and started their own company and decided, you know what, we are going to make this work. So they did a little research, put a little something together. It was called 6 Minute Abs at the time. And they launched it on TV and it did okay. The next one they produced was Power 90. It did a little bit better. And then they teamed up with a guy named Tony Horton, who you might have heard of. And they created what is now known as P90X. They launched P90X, and again, it was kind of a total flop, which seems weird because now we hear about it all the time, but they couldn't figure out what the missing piece was. So they started going back to the drawing board, doing a little research. Why was this such a flop? And so they talked to no better people than those who were doing the program. And out of, say, 10 people surveyed, they figured out that 6 of them who ordered from television never opened the box. It came to them, it collected dust for the next however many years, and they just never opened it. And then from there, they had about 2 people, 1 to 2 people who started it and then never finished the program. So they got about 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in. And finally, they really wanted to know about those last 2 people, the people who finished the whole 90 days of P90X. And they said, what was your recipe for success? What did you find to be just really efficient for you? And they said, the common thread was that they all had a buddy. They all had somebody to check in with them each day, that they were hitting their workout, they were doing well with their nutrition. At that time, it was pagers. So they would find somebody in the Beachbody community that was also doing P90X, and maybe they'd page each other in the morning. Like, it was very grassroots style, or they'd call each other. So that was, this light bulb went off for Carl and John, and they thought, okay, we need to start pairing people up with this. So let's pair people up who've had success with the program to people who haven't tried it yet and have them be buddies. As it turns out as well, those people who had awesome success were naturally sharing the program and their results with their friends and family, with people who would ask how they lost the weight, how they got awesome results. So those became their best advocates. And Carl and John were like, we need to compensate these people. They're helping us sell more programs and helping us get more people results than our infomercials ever could. So they went back to they did some research on how can we compensate these people for their awesome results and for referring others. And that was a very common income structure that's very popular today. And it's called network marketing. And it was a proven structure. But both Carl and John kind of had a negative taste in their mouth about what network marketing was. So they thought, we got to do it differently. If we're going to have this payment structure, we have to be different. And so they decided it was going to be a network helping company. It was going to be one person getting results, believer in the product, helping the next person. And that then crafted what is now a multi-billion-dollar industry, and our coaching network. Like us coaches who've had success with the programs, who live and breathe health and fitness, or we just are on our own journey, helping other people join that journey. That's how this coaching structure works. And it all revolves around something we like to call the healthy formula as coaches. And the healthy formula is comprised of 3 things that make Beachbody what it is and makes it unique from every other program or something out there that you can get. You know, anybody can walk into a Whole Foods and they can pick up a superfood blend of this, that, and the other thing. Anybody can buy a couple workout DVDs on Amazon. But the combo of things like Shakeology, our superfood blend, things like our workout programs that you can stream anywhere, anytime, and that missing piece was that coaching piece, that buddy system, that accountability factor that no other company out there could offer. And that's what we get to do as coaches. That's our healthy formula. And so we help people find what their healthy formula is. And anybody, you can help anyone. Someone who, you know, they might have their fitness dialed in. They're a CrossFit expert, or they're doing Ironman like I was at the time, but they have crappy nutrition, or they have great nutrition, but they have no idea where to start with exercise, or they have both, but they don't have somebody to hold them accountable to them. So you always have some sort of tool in your bag where you can help people with that healthy formula. And that's what makes Beachbody so unique and so different from anything else out there. So coaching in a nutshell, what it is, what it isn't. And I'm just going to tap on this briefly, let you know kind of what the coach does. And then I'm going to pass it off to Lisa and Whit, who will talk about the time requirements and then the impact and purpose in our life. So what coaching is. I'll start with what coaching isn't, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there. I hear all the time, well, I don't have a big network. I don't have a big following. I don't have, a bunch of friends and family that I can help, or I'm not big on social media. You don't have to be a great coach. You just have to have a heart to help others. Another thing I hear all the time, well, I'm not a great salesperson. I hate selling. And to that I say, good. Because if you ever feel like you're selling anything to anyone in this business, then you're doing it wrong. You have to come at it with a servant's heart and that gift that you know that you can help somebody in their life with something. And the minute that it's not going to help them in any way is the minute that you stop. There's no pressure points. There's no selling anybody on anything. If they need you, then that's wonderful. You can coach them and you can help them. The last thing that a coach is not somebody who has all these degrees, all these certifications, they're master experts in, physique, whatever it might be, or they don't have to have the perfect body either. You just have to, like Carl and John started with, you just have to be a believer in living a healthy lifestyle. Perhaps you've used our programs. Maybe you're in our challenge groups right now. You're experiencing amazing results. And that's something that you can pass forward and walk somebody through and give them your tips for success when they start their journey. So best part about it, you do not have to be at your ideal body weight or this perfect image. And in fact, the people who are on their journey right now, who can share the ups, the downs, the struggles, the realities of what it looks like to become your best self, those end up being pretty phenomenal coaches, because that's relatable to 99% of the population. Perfection is not relatable. So we encourage people to be on their own journey, whether it be a mental journey, a physical journey, or a combo of both, in order to be an awesome coach with our team. So last point here is, what does a coach do? And I'll pass it over to Lisa. We are, like I said, just the advocates for reaching our hands out and offering our help to somebody in need, somebody who can use part of that healthy formula. We like to do things like what we call challenge groups. And you can see in this little bubble over here, a challenge group is a place filled with inspiration, motivation, love, knowledge, and all the support you need to reach your goals. And so what we love to do, and there's a picture down here in the bottom right corner of one of our challenge groups. We did a healthy cooking night with one of the groups, and all these participants are in a challenge group, and they're going through a different program. Each of them is on a different part of their journey. One might be doing insanity. One might be just walking and biking, but following the meal plan. One of them was doing, at that time, 21-day fix. And so it's just a place where we can all come together and support each other on that journey so that no one feels like they're alone through it all. So we like to run these groups. We start a new one every month, and then we start free ones for people who can't, maybe they aren't financially ready to take total control of their health, or they can't afford a workout program. That's okay. We can still help them get started on their fitness or their health journey. So that's what we like to call a challenge group. And we love running those once a month just to help people get started on those first steps. So now I'm going to pass it off to Lisa, who's going to talk about what are the requirements of becoming a coach, or when you are a coach, what does it look like? Go ahead, Lisa.
So I originally thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have so much time to do all this, and how is this possibly going to work into my already crazy busy life? So I've realized now that I've been in it for a little while that it really just takes, I wake up in the morning, I check my messages, I reach out to 2 or 3 people while I'm brushing my teeth, I get everything ready for school, and, I get my workout in, I drink my shake. And then, throughout the day, depending on what day it is and depending on how many clients I have, it dictates that. So, I really like to chunk my time and put time in on days that I don't have as many clients. But days that I have a really crazy busy schedule, I'll sit in my car, I'll get to the school with carpool, and I'll sit in my car at the curb and send out 3 messages. Or I'll reach out to people that have expressed interest. So it just fits into the little spaces of my life. And by the end of the day, if I looked back on it, I had spent more time than I thought I had. The other part to it too then is, making sure that if it's something that you really want to do, and depending on what your why is, will dictate what kind of time you spend with it. But a lot of people just want to do it part-time. Some people are hobby coaches, where they just want to do it because they love helping people, and then it morphs into something else. Sometimes it's just, you can just fit it into the little pieces of your life, and it becomes some extra income for you and your family. So for me, it turned out to be, I just have my phone with me and I can do my business on the fly, which is really nice. Really, really nice. So the time commitment can be whatever it needs to be for you. But if you're super busy and don't feel like you have time, I bet you do. Because there's always a little nook or cranny somewhere. You're waiting in line at the grocery store, or you're sitting in your car waiting for the kids to get out of school. It doesn't have to be these giant pieces of time. It can be little pieces throughout your day. So I know Whitney wants to talk about impact and purpose. So go ahead, Whit.
Yeah, so it brings me back to the Michael Franti song. It's really, the purpose of life is to have a life full of purpose. And for me, to dedicate time into something, time is energy. And if you're spending a huge part of your energy into something that doesn't have purpose, it eventually kind of eats away at you, I believe. And so working this and dedicating your time into this, it just nurtures you, and it gives you that sense of purpose. And then the way you see people's lives changing, and you get that one first person that says, oh my God, I feel so much better. I have so much more energy, or I haven't been able to lose weight in 10 years, and look at me now. That's why we do it. And it just is this give and take that happens, and it makes you feel like now you're really like you're on the right path, and you're doing something that's going to make people more positive. Positive people make the world a better place. So ultimately, that's like the purpose in a nutshell. Yeah.
Thank you guys. That's awesome. So to wrap it up, and we'll let you guys get back to your nights. And I just wanted to let you know what you get with our team and what it looks like. So sometimes the biggest fear for me when I was starting out was, do I have to do this by myself? Like, am I going to have to create these new trainings? Do I need to, really kind of create my own business? And the best part, the most comforting part, is that you don't. We have so many amazing tools to help you get started, whether you need help building your social media network, you need help with, well, how do I help my first person? Or how do I run a challenge group? Or how do I work this part-time? How do I fit it into my schedule? How do I make this a full-time income one day? We support you through every step, every walk of life, through this coaching journey. And the beautiful part is that there's kind of 3 types of coaches, we like to call it. One's a walker, one's a jogger, and one's a runner. And so we like to just say, okay, you just want to walk in this, you kind of want to dip a toe in and just see if you like it. See if you like the coaching lifestyle. If you love helping 1 or 2 people, that's fabulous. There's no pressure. There's no right way, wrong way. This is your business. We're just here to help you with whatever your goal with that business is. So we have phenomenal trainings. We're one of the top teams in this company because of all of us leading with our heart first and the amount of people we are able to help. So you're definitely getting started with the right person. Whoever invited you to this sneak peek, reach out to them and ask them, what questions you have. You guys can jot down notes as you're listening to this. Questions about income, questions about, the coaching structure, what it looks like in your life, if it's the right choice for you, because we're going to be very open book about it and very honest with you about what it takes, what'll work, what might not work, and just help you make the right decision for you. And then this last part about your message. As I mentioned before, it's so important that you're on a journey and that, you haven't necessarily reached that ideal body or that ideal, entrepreneur mindset. All of us are on a journey and we all kind of have a little bit of our mess, right? So whatever you struggle with, whatever life is thrown at you, your mess in this business kind of becomes your message because there's other people out there that are experiencing some of the things that you've been through. And the fact that you get to now reach out your hand and say, hey, I can help you through that, turns out to be your purpose, your calling. And then we just hope that you can turn that into a way to help others if that is a calling that's been on your heart. And that's what we look for in coaches with our team too, that all of you come from just kind of that servant mindset and wanting to truly make the world a better place, help people, and just be that person for someone else to help them get started right. So that is all we had for you tonight. We would love for you to just be able to get back to your families and enjoy. That's why we all do this business, so we can open up more time freedom with the people we care about the most. So for those of you still on, I have all your names and I want to put them into our little raffle so that we can pick. And the winner gets some Shakeology samples that we will send your way. So I have my little dog mug. So I'm a fur mom. I don't have any babies, but the mug says, I work hard so my dog can have a better life. So we are going to draw out of our little mug. And, all right, the winner is Kelly. All right, so Kelly, let me read your last name. Campbell, and I can't say, you have a hyphenated, Rutkowski maybe? Campbell, I probably butchered that. But Kelly, congratulations. Thank you for tuning in. Some other names I see here. Kayla, Jamie, Justin, thank you guys so much for jumping on. Monica, share this, you guys, with somebody in your life that, that this might speak to. We would love to help you, help them, and don't hesitate to reach out to us with any questions that you have. And Kelly, let us know what your address is so we can send you out a couple Shakeology samples of your choice, whatever flavor you want to try. All right. Thank you guys so much. Lisa, Whit, do you guys want to add anything before we hop off?
I think just for me, the experience of the community of our team. So we talked a little bit about the community of, the challenge groups and having success, but it's the community of our team as coaches that when we have a problem or something like that, we can reach out to anyone. It's not just our upline. It's not just Whitney. I can reach out to anybody and get an answer, and it's really helpful. But it's also changed me as a person. It's made me more positive. It's made me work on my personal development and do the things that were missing in my life, but I didn't know they were missing. So it's just one more piece that creates purpose for me and creates value for me being a coach. So it's not just the financial part, it's all the stuff behind it.
Yeah, I agree completely. Having the team, having also the resources through Beachbody to kind of blend those things together and help create goals and visions. Like, it was also vague to me until I came into this tribe, and then it became very crystal clear of what my personal goals were, and then how I could actually make them come into fruition because of this group and this team. So it's just been a very positive group, expansive experience in general.
Yeah.
I love it. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much for jumping on and sharing your stories tonight. I appreciate it. All right. We'll see you later.